Hey, everybody. Jay and Jim here with another episode of From the Bleachers. So this time we are going to talk about, guess what? Everyone's talking about it, right? Strongsville. And I know everyone's probably tired of hearing it, but Jim and I are going to kind of do our wrap up. This is just kind of a summary, talk about our expectations, what we, experienced there, and then what we got there. So Jim, say hello.
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Was looking forward to this wrap up because Strongsville Independence was awesome. Let's just say it that way. So
yeah. Would you say this? And I guess before we get into what we thought of it, I would say that for anybody out there that's in the hobby, and whether you make content or you don't, or you just collect or you just comment or whatever, it is not just a show. It is an experience. There is so much more. It's so much more than a show. It's like the biggest little show around, but it's not just a show. It's the people. It's the meet and greet. It's the trade night. So many different aspects of it, and the social part is just unreal. And you don't have to be a YouTuber to go to this and enjoy it. I think it should be a bucket list item for anybody that is collecting, honestly.
Yep, I would agree 100%. The get-together, even the small get-together, wasn't really small, on Thursday night that they did over at the Embassy Suites was a really great get-together. It was, 60, maybe 80 people, commenters, YouTubers, family members, you name it, and they were there. And Friday night was just off the charts. It was great. It was fun, and the trade night was great too. And the show was, don't get me wrong, the show was fantastic. But like you said, it's more of an experience than just a show. So, please come next year. That's what I would tell everybody. So,
mark it on your calendar.
Yes, absolutely.
So Jim and I, this is both our second year going. We both went. This is both our second year. We were both relatively newer to YouTube community. Me more so than you when I went last year. Last year I went Friday night and then Saturday, Sunday. This year, I changed a little bit. I just went Friday night and stayed Saturday. I was trying to make it till trade night. It just didn't work out. But, Jim, you got in on Thursday, and you stayed right through till Sunday, correct?
Yeah, I left Sunday morning. I did not go Sunday to the show. Yeah, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I got in Thursday afternoon.
So stuff going on Thursday, even though there was nothing really planned, everyone's getting in, especially the people that had to travel really long distances. And like you said, there was that informal get together, and I saw some video and pictures of that, which was incredible. And I wish that I was there. Couldn't go to sleep on Thursday night, just wanted Friday morning to come around. So I rolled into town Friday afternoon, picked up Rusty and Lou from the airport, and then we made it to the show just before 1:00. So we had the VIP. We got in, before 2. And it was still busy, but not crazy like it got busy later on. But this show. No, there were some people that were worried. I think we were all a little worried about what the show was going to be. So last year it was just in the hockey rink, and it was big and it was busy. This year, a lot of promotion from especially the YouTube community. 2 shows combining together. So now you have 2 distinct groups of people that might be attending this show. So you're going to be doubling the space, doubling the size. The parking, parking's parking, whatever. They had valet. I used the valet. I loved it. It was the best $7 I spent.
There you go.
But I don't think that there were too many misses with this show. Would you agree?
No, we went over. I took Ross from Ross Loves Cards and Tony from Tony Talks Cards over on Friday morning, and we got there 9:30. Yeah, it opened at 10 for the. No, it opened at noon.
That was on Saturday. That was on Saturday.
Yeah. So but we got there half hour early on Friday, and I found a corner parking spot over by like a little camper type vehicle, and I squeezed my Ford in, and parking was not a problem. I went over Saturday at around 11 with Tony, and I parked on a little side curve off to the side from the entrance. So parking for myself, not an issue. So
Friday, when we rolled in at 1, I circled that parking lot twice. There was no parking, but then I saw the sign for valet, and I was skeptical. I said, "There's no way, right? They don't have valet." We went up, $7. Here you go. Park my car right into the show, right in, no line, no nothing. And then on Saturday, we got there probably about 10 after 9. Parked. I found a spot to park. We got in the line, which wasn't very long, and they ended up letting us in the show probably about 20 or 10 minutes early. So I think when they finally let us in, it was like 9:20. It was supposed to be 9:30. And then we had that first half hour, 40 minutes before general admission open. And it was nice to get in there and kind of like scope out some tables. But the size, I love how the show on the vintage side, all the dealers were set up in the same order that they were at the old hockey rink. It made it very easy to find people. You just kind of remembered where they were. But even if you weren't familiar with the show, I mean, my first time going was last year. I just remember the layout because it's a smaller show. And this was nice to figure out where those guys were. And on the other side, I was not afraid to go on the modern side. I was excited that they were there. And you found some guys over there. You found some, like, I collect a little modern here and there. So I was really excited for it. That side, I don't think ever really got as busy as
it wasn't crazy.
Side. So it was nice to go over on that side to kind of get a break and look at some other stuff and take your time without muscling through, 4 deep people at some of the cases. And I wasn't in a hurry to buy anything either. I didn't have much of a plan going in. And so I really took my time. But expectations, man, it exceeded everything. The meet and greet.
It blew them out of the water. So
Chris from Missouri put so much work into that meet and greet, and I'm so happy. Like, he just pours everything into it, and it couldn't have gone any better. And it was so nice seeing everybody. The only thing, I guess, the downside, and I kind of said this in my other video, I felt like I only had like 10 minutes to talk to each person, and it was just not enough. And I wish I had more time to have talked to more people and really had some good conversation. Not that I didn't have good conversation. That's not what I'm saying. But, I really like the social aspect. It's just so difficult with so many people being there. And then Saturday was just like business all day. It was go, try and get some deals, wrap up what you can. And I wasn't feeling great. And I ended up not staying for trade night. So I lost out on that social part. I feel like I would have had those conversations on Saturday. And I just kind of missed it on that. But you were at trade night. So why don't you tell us a little bit about trade?
Yeah. So just to go back to Thursday night real quick. Yeah. One thing I would suggest to everybody, I know a lot of people are working, it's hard to get off work, but if you can get in on Thursday afternoon and go to the pre meet and greet thing, that would be cool, because that was really nice and all that. So you get to kind of hang out a couple hours and all that. So I would suggest, if you're, if you can pull it off, arrive a day before the show. So I would say that. The trade night was great. I got a table set up, Jason and 4 collectors. They pulled that off. I mean, it was perfect. The doors opened, I think, at 6:30. I got there about 6 o'clock and, got set up, got everything laid out the way I wanted. Orlando was going to sit next to me, but he didn't come until like almost 7. But it was steady busy. I mean, it was a lot of people coming, a lot of people going, and people walking around, 3 or 4 times, looking at all the cards and memorabilia and all that. I know you weren't feeling well on Saturday, but if you get a chance, obviously next year, and you're looking to move some cards or whatever, bring some cards with you, and there'll be buyers there, that's for sure. So
I will say that I was tempted to come in Thursday this time, and then the week before the show, I ended up with tickets to the Sabres game. So on Thursday. So I was at the Sabres game. It was my first game in 10 years. I went with my father-in-law, and there was no way I was driving on Thursday. You guys were probably, I mean, if there were people awake, it was probably the party crew that was probably just getting ready to go to bed by the time I rolled in. So next year, definitely a possibility, because I would love to do Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. But it depends. It's a tough week, too, because typically it follows the weekend after Easter. And for us here, that is spring break week. And my wife really wants to go away and not to Strongsville. She wants to go away for a week to, spring break somewhere. So I'm kind of at a crossroads. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Typically, I can't take that week off anyway. But maybe if I'm in a different position, I might be able to. That's a possibility. So we'll see. And if I can't do Strongsville next year, I would definitely consider Philly in March. So anyway, that's getting off. We're going to talk about Strongsville. So
let me show you something real quick, just so people. So when I got in Thursday, and I got in like, I don't know, 2 o'clock or something like that. I checked into my hotel at the Holiday Inn. I went over to Embassy Suites real quick and ran into John Wade Boggs fan, and then James Gilliam. Talked to them for a few minutes, and they're the only two people I saw. So I ran up, and I want to show you everybody, and I showed it on my channel, but I went to the Baseball Heritage Museum at League Park in Cleveland.
Nice.
Okay. So it's still got the diamond laid out. They got side of a building still. So that's kind of a neat thing to do if you want to go do that.
That's
and
cool.
Vintage Dave T showed this on his channel. That's how I found out about it. And
He
I
did a
picked up
small
collector's
video
pen.
of it, right?
Yes.
It was
And
excellent.
there's my collector's pen. So I got that. So
That's awesome.
It's an option if you're looking for something to do, maybe kill a couple hours. You can do it in an hour. And it's from the hotels, it was 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's really close.
Not even.
Yeah.
I don't think it from my hotel, it was only about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was really simple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And,
well,
but yeah, go ahead. You first.
No.
First.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to start with Friday. Now I'm going to be completely transparent here. So I had saved up quite a big budget for Strongsville.
Okay.
And I've talked about this before. It was probably about $1,500. And for me, that is a huge, unbelievable budget to have at one time in one place. So that was big. But leading up to the show, I went ahead and I made 2 purchases, and I pulled from that budget, and I pulled a lot from that budget. So the first one, and I've showed this, and maybe everyone's sick of me showing it, but I will never get
you go ahead and show that card.
So I spent big part of my budget on this guy right here.
Yeah.
All right.
That
And
is
I'm really
awesome.
glad that I did, because I was going to wait to see if I could find this at the show. And honestly, I saw maybe one of these, and I like mine a lot better. Just say that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so that took a huge chunk of my budget. And then for whatever reason, I got a little, restless with that money laying around and said, well, I already spent this much. So what's, another little bit of money. And I ended up buying this guy right here. All right. And this is a Gene Tunney. And this is a set that you just don't see very often. It's very low pop. I actually talked to Orlando about this card. He had not seen it before. He was really interested in it. And it was pretty cool. It's a Spanish card from Spain. So not many in the U.S. I did find a bunch, but graded and that like that, it's tough to find. So I bought that. So after all was said and done, I walked into the show on Friday with $660, and I didn't really know how my show was going to go. And on Friday, I told myself I am going to take it slow. I am going to just walk, and that's what I did. The first thing I did buy was the cards I needed for my 1973 top set, and there were 6 cards. Right.
Yep.
So I was able to track 5 of those down on Friday. I tracked the final one down on Saturday, which was great.
Yep.
But I will be first to be that I am the world's biggest dummy, because yesterday I went to go put them away in my binder, and I am still minus 3 cards. 2 of them I had, and I misplaced them. So I said the only place I probably misplaced this was my duplicates box. So I went to my duplicates box, and I was able to find one, but the other I'm pretty sure I gave away. And then there was another one that just wasn't on my checklist. So I am still 2 cards short from completing that damn set. So,
oh no!
But anyway, so I spent a little bit of money on that first day, and then the only really big card that I bought that day was this card right here, which was the Red Heart Red Shade.
Yeah, that's sharp.
This is the only really expensive. I paid $100 for that card on Friday, and then actually at the meet and greet with when we were all just kind of hanging out afterwards, I bought this Sam Langford off of So that was my Friday.
Okay. Well, before we even Thursday night, I met up with Mike Jayhawker because I had already pre-purchased a card from him when he did his video about 6 months ago, and he's raising money too, right? He's going through the cards, and he came across this one, and I said, "That's the one I want." So I picked that up from him, and this is a beautiful. And I'm not sure if I'm going to ever complete this set, but it's another card in it, so that's a good thing. And
beautiful.
Yeah, Not that I'm a Yankees guy, but you got to have this card because it's Thurman Munson, and he's just a great player. He
Yep.
belongs in the Hall of Fame. Let's just say it that way. And
Yep.
it's sad that he's not. But I got that from Mike, and then on Friday, my first purchase was my first '63 Fleer, Bob
Very
Gibson.
nice.
Since I got a Bob Gibson run I'm doing and all that, so I figured, let me get that.
Man, he just
And
looks like a mean dude that you do
And he
not
doesn't
want
look too happy, does he? And and Bob certainly had a great career. I'm not going over all the numbers; everybody knows him, but he fantastic pitcher and all that. So the great Bob Gibson, I thought that's just really nice. Made the guy an offer, he accepted. I said, yeah, I got to have that. So I picked that up, and I'll say my big purchase. Of course, everybody knows what it is because I've talked about it already. But but one thing I'm going to show you, I got at trade night. Actually, I got two things at trade night. Let me just show those real quick. So Sammy Thunder showed this on his channel a couple months back.
Yeah.
So this is it's like a plastic. It's a record. Nolan Ryan, the fourth no-hitter. And I've been looking for that for quite a while. And when Sammy showed it, I said, Sammy, just put it off to the side. Tell me what you want for it. It's not expensive. And I thought, I've got to have that for my Nolan Ryan oddball run. And I also got this from Sammy. So the 300 wins sports impressions.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. And all that. Another Noli and all that. So, because once I bought my big card and got that out of the way, and I bought it on Friday, I'll show it in a bit. Long story short, I'm done. I'm not done, but I got the card I came for. Yeah. And because I had the 70 Transit-Gram Ryan on my list, but I knew that not at that show. It wouldn't be found because it's just not enough dealers. Maybe at the National, it's a tough card to come across. Yeah. I've looked for that card on eBay. It's not simple to get. The other one, I don't know what the price might be and all that. So, but maybe one day in the future, I'll get the Transit-Gram. We'll see what happens and all that. So, but absolutely. One thing that a lot of people don't think about it, but is when you're a one-person collector, like Russ from Collecting No One, he collects a lot of Ryan. That's his big thing. I collect Ryan and others. You got to get these guys too. So this is the 86 Topps Tiffany Bob Lillis, the manager's card of the Astros. And why do you have to have it? Because no one's name is listed on the back.
I got
you. So you have to have that card as a Nolan Ryan collector. Just like you have to have the team cards, you have to have this too. So, yeah. So that's the bad thing about being one of these guys that when you collect single players and you got to really start digging deep because when you get other cards, you got to go, okay, I can start this run of it too. And also, so
right.
But, but I'll tell you that show, like you said, all the dealers were set up like they were at the hockey rink last year. Yep. And they did a great job of that. I didn't need to look at the, any diagram, any floor plan. I walked from the right side and I walked around to the left side and came back. And I thought, okay, now I can hit the middle tables and all that. So, and it's just laid out right. They got it set up right. I went through Friday. I hit the other side also. I went over to the, the Pokemon and the Pokemon and the new stuff, and picked up a couple of little things there. And then Saturday, I just kind of did a quick, I did like 5 hours on Saturday and scanned both sides and all that. Yeah. So, yeah.
The thing is about a lot of those vendors, and I'm talking about on the vintage side. Mm-hmm. I had trouble focusing on the cases themselves. So like when there's a stack of cards with rubber bands on it, like I know a lot of players in my head that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the World War II guys that are the lesser stars or not stars at all. And, there's so many of them that I start to get like really rattled in my brain. But then there was like a whole bunch of stuff where they just had like random boxes and stuff lying on top of each other. And that's where when you really started digging through that stuff, you would come across some really cool stuff. And it wasn't even necessarily anything on my radar, but like I was really looking for some vintage boxing cards. And they were kind of tough to come by. They were scattered here and there. There was one table that had quite a few. But they were a little overpriced, I thought. But I wanted to get something for them. So this leads into my Saturday, stories. Saturday I come in, and first thing, I go to that table, and there's nobody there. I'm one of the first ones in. I go to that table, and as I'm coming up to, they have a whole array of stuff. They have baseball. They have some basketball. I think they have everything, but they got a lot of boxing, a lot of baseball. Before I could get to the boxing, I see this card that just kind of like immediately, poof, I don't remember seeing this card. And so this was a card that was not on my list because I didn't think that I would be able to afford it. Now, I walked into the show, $363 on day 2. So I look at it, and it's a T206 Nap Lajway. And it has the sunrise background where he's holding the bat. Beautiful card. And it's beat up, but I'm okay with it. 100-plus-year-old card supposed to look a little beat up. And I asked to see it. And I look at the price immediately, and I'm like, wow, this is really a reasonable price, which was different than the boxing cards, because I thought the boxing cards were, up here, and this one was kind of down here. So I take a look at it, really look at it. I'm like, was this here yesterday? And the guy says, no, I don't think so. I think he just brought that today. And I said, oh, man, this is a really nice card. So I put it back in the case, knowing that I don't really have a lot of money. Plus, if I do buy it for $360, my day is done. And I've only been in the door for like 5 minutes. So I kind of walk away from it, and then I come right back to it, and I look at it, and I'm like, man, this is a beautiful card. So I go back and just kind of like don't really know what to do. And I ran into Joe Redneck Collector, and I said, Joe, would you mind coming over and just taking a look at this card with me real quick? And he was like, yeah, you know what? I'll go over and take a look. He comes over, he goes, oh, wow, that's a nice card. He says, price pretty decent too. And I said, yeah, I think so. So I take a look at it, and I say, all right, well, would you take $350 for it? And the guy looks at me, and he's looking, and I already know what the previous sales are. And he says, listen, last one sold for over 5. I'm at 4. I'm low, if anything. And I said, yeah, you are, but I got to try, right? And he's like, I can't do $350. And I said, okay, fair enough. So I tell Joe thanks, and I had brought some cards with me for trade night, and just in case. And nothing big, except for my Clayton Kershaw, which I was trying to sell, which I couldn't sell on Friday to the modern guys. But I had some vintage stuff, and I had about 6 cards, and I knew my hometown dealer was there, my local card shop, and I went over there, and I said, hey, man, Chris, listen, you interested in buying anything? Yeah, sure, what do you got? And I show him, and he's going through, and it seemed like it was forever. And in my mind, I'm like, we're in Cleveland. Right. There's a Nap Lajway over there. It's going to disappear while I'm trying to get the money. And he ends up giving me, about $130 for my cards. So, which was way better, because I did try and sell those cards earlier in the day, and the dealer offered me $50 for them, and said, "Yeah, I'll give you $50." And I was like, "No, I'll look around." So I got $130. Good. As much good. I circled right back to that table. I go over, it's still there. I said, you know what? I will take that right there, and I was able to get this guy right here. So I am so happy. Awesome.
That's a good looking card.
It's a little beat up, dinged up there, but I don't care about that. Again, I always describe that as high character. I love the stains on the back. Yeah, I think it's awesome. My first T206, and I couldn't be happier than to get.
And I think he went in the Hall of Fame on the second year of voting in 1937 and all that.
Yeah, I think so too. But a guy that doesn't really like he's not a veteran. But he's a guy that I wanted to get into pre-war, into those early tobacco sets. Yeah. And I was trying to, I know I'm not probably going to get a Mathewson. I'm probably not going to get I know I'm not going to get a Cobb. But this one right here was one of those guys. I mean, just an awesome player. And so the great representation for a guy from that era, really glad to add that. So then I go around, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really have much money left. I have a little. And I'm walking, and I find Dave and Adams set up, which, again, is from my hometown, but the national dealer. And there's 2 kids at the table. I show them my Kershaw. Boom. They buy my Kershaw from me. I wanted a little bit more than I got for it, but they gave me $520 for it. So now I'm reloaded with cash. And I'm like, man, this is a game changer. This is total game changer. So the rest of the show, I'm able to go around, make some deals, and without boring every one of the details, I'll just go ahead and show what I got.
Yeah, let's see it.
Was my next T206, and this is Rube Marquard. Now, this
Yep.
is not, that is a smudge, and I don't really care about that because, again, 100
Yep.
plus year old card, supposed to look
Yep.
that way, but it's the old mill back, which I'm
Yep.
really thrilled to have.
I,
One of the rarer backs. And I don't know how rare it is. I know it's rarer than the Piedmont and the Sweet Caps, but I'll take it. And it's another Hall of Famer. And so that was a great start in the T206. And then I was able to hunt down a Hall of Fame Diamond Star to add to my collection. Sam Rice.
That's nice.
Yep. Found that on the modern side, by the way.
Yeah.
And then added to my boxing stuff and ended up with a Jake LaMotta exhibit.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. And this Jack Sharkey exhibit. And that's a green tint. You can't see it because of my light.
Okay.
That's a green tinted one. And then this one is actually Jack Dempsey and Gene Tunney, which I think is really cool.
It's like 1926 or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a date on it. No, there's not a date on it. But yeah, very cool. Very happy. And then, I ended up with a bunch of other stuff. I got a 69 Tops football. I got Joe Namath, Brian Piccolo, and Gale Sayers. I didn't bring those down.
You did good with those three. Yeah.
Yeah. I got those kind of on the way out. And these last ones, this is the 1969 Philadelphia News Bulletin. These are all World War II cards. They're all like actual pictures. And on the back, it'll say, what it was. And I got 27 of those from a single
How many's
dealer.
in the set?
I think there's 100. Or maybe there's 80. There might be 80. But I'm on my way to getting I think after doing this, and I got these 27 for about $50. I'm on my way to going ahead and, completing.
You're going to be completing the set and all that. So,
yeah, absolutely. So,
no
but
doubt
that's
about
my
that.
day.
So I can't go away without showing a couple of things here and all that. And then I'll talk about something else. Obviously, got to talk about that a little bit. So
Yep.
The Rev Steve cards that Jeff, a fine card collector. I'm getting that right. And also Brent Richards and baseball cards.
They did such a great job.
You just want to say thank you to both of you guys because you guys did a fantastic job. And I know how good Brent does with these and all that. And then Jeff did the labeling and all that, and he does a great job. So
fantastic.
Very cool thing for Rev Steve, who we were thinking about all weekend and all that. So I love that. So I wanted to show that. And then I got something else to show before I show the card. So on my way out Saturday, stopped by a little booth. I think it's like as you walk out of the room where the show was, there's another where they were doing autographs and stuff like that.
Yep.
I got this. So
that's cool.
So I picked up that and all that as a just remembrance of the trip and all that, and it's got the dates on the show.
Awesome.
So that was kind of a cool pickup. And obviously, anybody that's seen the video I dropped has seen this card already. So they're going to see it again. So
show that sucker off.
I am super stoked about that.
Be proud.
And I shout out my buddy Joe and all that. So Joe Pre-War Dreams, who got this last year. And was super excited showing it to me. I remember after the show, he came over and showed me this card, and I thought, "Oh my God, that is gorgeous!" So
I am so glad that two of my good buddies 2 years in a row were able to land that card.
I was super excited. I saw it in the guy's showcase when I walked by. And I thought, "Oh man!" I looked at it and turned it over, and I gave it back to him, and I went back probably an hour and a half later, and it was still there. I'm going, "Oh." Jim, you got to get it. You have to have it.
Who did you buy it from? Do you know?
I wish I would have got the guy's name. He came down a little bit, but not a lot. And I thought, you know what? It really doesn't matter what he won it for because I had the money in my pocket.
Yep.
It was my number one target other than that Ryan Transogram. And I thought, if I walk out of here without that card, I'm going to be thoroughly disappointed and all that. Yeah. So I was super, super excited to get that card. And it's down in my display case, and so I just love it.
So cool. Congratulations, man. That is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And I would say the show, the whole weekend, the experience exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I mean, I've been to the Philly show now for the second time because I went like a month before this show. I've been to Chantilly. I couldn't tell you how many times. I've been to 7 or 8 nationals, So I've been to some really, really big shows over the years, but the experience of this show and all that beats all of them, honestly. Because you get
this is the biggest show that I go to, even though it's a small show. So I don't really have anything to compare it with when it comes to Philly or Chantilly or the National. This is big. And honestly, I'm so sometimes overwhelmed at this one that I don't know what I would do with those other shows. But this is, I knew it was going to be fun. Yeah. You just never realize how fun it's going to be, man. It is so fun.
You can't try to describe it to the people, to the folks that have not gone. Yeah, you got to go. And one thing I wanted to make a comment about was Saturday when I went back in, and I had money in my pocket, but I didn't have anything targeted. So I went through all the tables, and I come across a gentleman. He was selling a lot of OPG cards on this table. That's what I remember. And I bought a couple from him, but he had a box to like programs and stuff. And so I started going through, and I found 3 Nolan Ryan items in that box, 2 of which are very oddball and I've never seen before. So they're downstairs. I'm going to show them. I haven't shown them yet. I'm not showing them until Brent and Russ and I get together so I can show them. And one's a program, and like it's an Astros program. So that's not the oddball. But the other 2, I'm going to ask Brent and Russ, have you seen these? And all that. So, and it's a nice little surprise.
Leave.
Right. Because that's what we do. We kind of hold this on for the show and all that. And we'll probably do it in a month or 6 weeks or whatever we decide. And we'll do our hour. So I'll be showing that at that time and all that. So it's sitting down on my desk.
You brought it up. The people that haven't been there and they can't really understand it. There's a reason that these videos about Strongsville happen so much before, during, and after is because it is, like I said before, it's an experience more than it is a show. And it is just, you could go there with $500 or $200 or whatever and still find incredible stuff, but just the camaraderie is just out of this world. And then meeting new friends, you know what I mean? Like there was people that I met this year that I didn't meet last year. There were people that I met in person for the first time, people I saw again. So, just so much fun. I will say there is one thing I want to show. So I did run into Melissa, who had a crazy, crazy show. If you guys are not watching the channel.
Her video was amazing. She had a great show. So
so she, I gave her a challenge coin and a patch from my department at the show. And she said, Jay, give me your address. And honestly, yesterday it came in the mail. She sent me this package in the mail.
Already?
So, already. Cool. So she sent me this cool patch that we'll add to my patch collection.
That's cool.
She also sent me the corresponding challenge coin, which I will add to my challenge coin collection, which is
I see it
just over my shoulder. You can see it. Probably.
I see it.
She sent me her department and anniversary coin, which is pretty awesome. I don't know if it'll focus. But then, on top of that, she sent me this, which is it's a Sabres,
like a photo album.
Yeah, it's a photo album, and it's from Hostess Wonder Bread, and they do this in Buffalo. There's a factory in Buffalo. So, but when you got a photo album, it opens up, and it's got the team picture with team captain Lindy Ruff on there, which I think is pretty fitting considering that we're going back to the playoffs and that he is, coaching the team there. But how freaking cool is this?
That is cool.
All the stats of all the pictures, it's like cards. Like these would normally be punched out. Like these would be the cards, But that was freaking cool.
Yeah.
So
those challenge coins are cool. I got a couple of them downstairs too, and a lot of people don't know what they are, but
they started in the military, and in the military you had to really earn those. Now it's become more of like everyone just kind of gets them from their department and they kind of swap and trade and whatever. But it's still a cool concept. So I think probably besides cards, that's the one thing that I kind of do. So, but
they're awesome.
Yeah, they're popular. So any final thoughts? Final thoughts on Strongsville?
I just would say, if you haven't been and all that, and you can swing it. I know, God, airline flights are crazy expensive sometimes. Yeah. Obviously, I'm close enough to drive. It's 6.5 hours. It's 400 miles, whatever it is, and I'm good for that. That's easy and all that. And I tell everybody, 400 miles ain't nothing. And
right.
Please come if you can make it. I would say just for the experience, do it once, see if you like it.
Yep.
You'll love it. And it's great meeting, like Jeff, a fine card collector, seeing him for the first time. Great guy, great channel. Meeting Melissa, she Sports Guru 17, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Another great channel. Love her videos and all that. Just to shout out a couple people Nick Chin, I met him.
Yep.
Iowa collector.
And check out Carter. His son Carter just started a new channel. So make sure you guys Carter's Cardboard.
Carter's Cardboard.
He had a good show too.
Okay, I'll be looking that up because I had another gentleman. I got his card over here. I should have brought it over. It's over in my family room because I want to make sure I subscribed. I subscribed to his channel, so I've done that. Yeah. And but just a shout out to some of those folks. But everybody, Chris from Missouri especially should get a great shout out. Yeah, because he's great. I loved it. The get together Friday night, and then the trade night, the 4 collectors and all that. Jason, everyday card collector, did a fantastic job. So it was. Please come out next year.
I wish I could have been there to see that, but I've heard it was fantastic. I'll give one more shout out. My buddy Tim just started his channel. He's been collecting for a long time. I met him in Strongsville 2 years ago. We've been in a text group for the last year talking about Strongsville. Got to hang out at the show. He just started. As soon as the show ended, he started his channel. And it is called, he's a big Grateful Dead fan. So the name of his channel is Grateful, like the Grateful Dead. So GRATEFUL, Grateful Card Collector. Check him out. He's awesome.
Okay. Will do. I'll make sure I do that. You can text me that too. So
I will. I will. Yeah. But anybody out there, that Grateful Card Collector, Carter's Cardboard, 2 new channels that were born from Strongsville 2026. So check them out.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've been trying to go through all the videos of everybody that has. I've gone through 20 of them easy and all that. Just try to make sure I don't miss anything to see everybody's great pickups and all that because it's just a great show and everybody had a great time. We had dinner Friday night and all that. That was a lot of fun to sit down and just relax a little bit. And I met Matt from Straight Race Cards and all that. So another great channel. And
14 of us, 12 of us that went out for dinner that night. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Had a good time. So, but really appreciate.
If anyone has any questions on Strongsville, right? Like you can reach out to anybody. This community, if anything, is the kindest, most generous community out there, and we are always willing to help. So, or get you, just talk to you. We'll chat you up. We'll always talk. We got little groups that we always get on, and you build some camaraderie with people, and then when you finally actually meet them in person, it feels like you've known them forever. So and you don't even have to worry about getting a ride from the airport or from the hotel to the card show because somebody will drive you. Yep. Don't worry about it. You'll probably meet somebody that would want to split a room with you, and there you go. You're saving costs there anyway. Right. So
some people,
it is great.
Right. Some people like to split rooms. I'm going, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just have my own room. But they do that. Jim, they get the,
This has been fun. Another From the Bleachers Strongsville special here. But this has been fun. I enjoy doing these, and I hope everybody enjoyed, hearing about Strongsville. I know we're really talking it up, but this is probably my last Strongsville video, and this is, just the wrap. This is the wrap up. So thanks for everybody for tuning in.
Yep, appreciate everybody tuning in and watching, and I probably do a little fun thing on Friday and all that. We'll see. So you guys take care.
All right. Bye, everybody.